Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is Carmen with Elemental Designs. Today I'm back to share with you guys what the final clock looks like. I was kind of working on kind of segmenting the pieces together, but it was just going to be too long of a video, and I was going to have to speed it up a lot just to share with you guys just, the start to finish of the whole thing. So what I've decided to do is on Wednesday at 8 p.m. I'll be doing another Junk to Treasures. And I'm going to work on another altered clock like this one because I still have one more. And I figured why not use the other one up. I have a whole bunch of hot glue and all kinds of hot stuff that fell into that. But for the most part, I figured why not just do another one. That way I can kind of put them and arrange them either side by side or one over the other. Or maybe somehow I can link them both together. But we'll see how that all kind of turns out. So if you will join me next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be working on another altar clock. The theme for this one I hope is going to be shipwreck. And I'm also going to be doing some molding and some sculpting with some of the Ranger clay, whatever I have left over. So we'll be doing some things with that, and then the rest of it we'll figure it out. So this should be interesting because I don't have much clay left, but I definitely have enough to at least create something pretty awesome and cool. And we'll be working on that, sculpting it and getting it all together all during one sitting. So hopefully you guys will join me for that. So to come back to this project, so this is the project that I did for a Worlds of Hearts live stream event. But unfortunately, we only had an hour to do a mixed media project. And for me, for others, an hour might be fine and it'll be perfect. But for me, it's a little too short of time because I struggle with, I always go big when it comes to my projects. Even when I try to do something small, I always end up adding so many different things to it, just so many layers, that it does kind of take me usually around 2 hours to 3 hours. Sometimes it can take me longer to finish a project of this magnitude. Um, and all of the altered projects that I do, and all of those kinds of projects in general that I do tend to take some time. But I finished it, you guys, and I'm so, oh my goodness, you guys, I'm so in love with what I did. So where you guys last saw it, it wasn't painted. The walls of this, all of the outside was still white. Um, what I've done is I've taken the metallic colors, the metallic waxes, and I've used the royal blue, no, cosmic blue. I've also used a little bit of the polished coral. Not too much. I think I only added a little bit. Not too much. And I also used, I didn't use orange checker. I did use lavish green. And these are metallic lusters by Decoart. And they're waxes similar to like the Prima ones. But these are a little bit more water soluble than those. So I get to kind of water it down, dilute it down, and then just kind of apply it all over the place. I'm waiting to get my hands on the premium ones because I definitely want to work with those and see how those compare to these, because I really do enjoy working with these water soluble ones, but I've heard that the other ones are a little bit more permanent. So I'll let you guys know when I do get some of those and when I can actually compare, because I did get a lot of questions about the waxes, but I don't own any of the Primo ones, so I wasn't able to kind of give you that comparison feedback. But definitely be on the lookout for that because I'll be having that shortly. Now to get back to what I did with this. So where you guys last saw me, like I said, this was white. So I've gone ahead and added some copper, some blue. I've added a little bit of that lavish green. I think I also added, I think it was espresso, this brown one right here. Iced espresso. So the whole perimeter of the porthole I did with the waxes. And I just kind of buffed them on. And originally, when I applied my gesso to the surface, I distressed a lot of it. I wanted it to look like really like janky and distressed. So I kind of like did a whole bunch of like lines on it, and I just kind of peeled some of the gesso back, so you get a little bit of that texture and just that grunginess all the way around. Also, I didn't really get a chance to add these little like strips that I added here on the side. So I went ahead and added 1, 2, 3, 4 of them to the sides, just to give it more of kind of like a porthole look, if you will. And for those of you guys that don't know what a porthole is, it's basically like the window of like a submarine or something of that nature. And so I have here the little Tim Hort bottles that I went ahead and added on. I did fill them in with some of the scrap papers that was left over, and I hot glued the cap back on, and I put the little bits of paper on the inside. And I really love, love, love how this come out. Now, one thing that I did do before I went and started doing all these things, before I forget, I had mentioned to you guys that I wanted to add triple thick to the inside. So once the live was done, I kind of pulled back that little rim that it had on top, and then I basically triple thick the whole inside so that it looks kind of wet, like it's, I don't know if you guys can see it with the glare of the glass, but it's really shiny in there. You can see how it bounces off the tail. And it also helps to kind of seal everything in place. So after I did that, I went ahead and added some of these little white little seed beads on there. And I added that just around the tags on top and the bottom, so around the curiosity and around the collections. And I also did kind of go ahead and add it a little bit under the tail, but I didn't really like the way that it looks, plus you couldn't really see it too well. So as I was kind of debating if I wanted to add a trim that I had shared with you guys yesterday, it was like a gold, it was like a gold and white rope kind of trim. My idea was to kind of put that all in between and kind of seal it all around, but I didn't really like the way that it looked with everything that was going on. So what I did instead is that I grabbed some sequins and I grabbed some of the gold, and I added some heavy gel all around the edges, which is why like it shines. And I'm thinking of like she's collecting bottles, she's collecting seashells, and she's also collecting coins that are maybe falling from shipwrecks, or have found themselves somehow stuck in the sand. So like I went through this whole storyline in my head. I'm trying to figure out where I wanted to put like all the different little pieces and stuff. So this is basically how it came out. And then I knew I was missing something, which is why she kind of felt incomplete while I was doing it. So I was getting a little bit nervous because I'm like, I'm missing something, and I couldn't remember exactly what it was. It was actually this little seashell bikini top that I did. And basically all I did was kind of glue two seashells together, and they're basically the same size. And what I did is that I painted it in with berry, which is this color right here. It's a Decoart Metallic, dazzling metallic paint, and it's called Berry. And so I went into the bra and I added some of the berry, and I also added some of the blue back into it, which is the ice blue, again another metallic paint. If you guys are familiar with my channel, you know I love using metallic paints in just about all of my mixed media projects. I always incorporate some kind of metallic somewhere, somehow. And so once I did that to the bra and I added the blue to it, I was like, you know what, I think I need to go ahead and just add a little bit of this berry color everywhere else, just so that it kind of all looks, like it's all one cohesive piece. So I did that, and I went and I added a little bit to the face, which is why her face is a lot darker now. And then I did go ahead and finish adding more. I did go ahead and add more to like the body, and I intensified some of the blue by going over with a little bit of the ice blue. And yes, you guys, so I think that basically covers what I did. I added all of that sequence all around the top. I also went ahead and added some of these little flatbacks, these little gold flatbacks, just to add a little bit of an extra detail here and there. But I really love, love, love the way that it came out. I mean, I'm so enamored with it. And like I said before, these are the kind of projects that you will see here on my channel. I love doing like revival type projects where you take something that you would not normally use, or that you haven't used for a while, and you give it a new artistic purpose. You upcycle it, you give it new life. And I love doing those types of projects, and I use all different kinds of things, not things that you would normally see or normally use. So if you like those types of projects, definitely make sure to tune back in. But you're also going to see art journaling, and you're also going to see acrylic painting, and just all different types of things to do with mixed media, and some watercoloring, just a little bit of everything. So I hope that if you are returning, if you are new, or if you are returning, that you enjoy what you have seen. And again, I will be here live on Wednesday at 8 p.m. and as well on Saturday at 8 p.m. as those are my normal live stream days and hours. So it's Wednesday at 8 and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesdays I do junk to treasures. Saturdays is usually the days that I pull out the canvases, or I pull out an art journal, or I put out something else to do some kind of acrylic painting or collaging, or basically whatever comes to mind at that point in time. Usually those are definitely the free-for-all kind of days where it's just very eclectic, and I basically just gather a whole bunch of different things, and we'll see what kind of things come out of it. So I hope that you will join me then as well. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for participating and for watching and supporting.